Hey guys, here I have two different methods for hiding the end of your threaded rod after you push it into your foam for re-strengthening the foam attachments. So the first method is basically like this, that you predetermine how long of a threaded rod you need, and then you add a couple of inches to it it's always safer to add a little bit more instead of running short. And then where I want it to be basically cut, instead of cutting it, I just grind it off and weaken it a little bit, make it a little bit narrower in the middle. You will see what I mean. I'll show you a little bit closer up image here. And the other end of it is going to be excuse me, is going to be just sharpened, not to a point that is like needle sharp. Just like pointy enough that when you put it into your drill and want to drill it into your foam, it doesn't give you any hard time. So right now I'm just grinding off one end that is just going to be the front going into the foam. And I like to basically use the full length of the threaded rod to work with before I cut them short, because it's just easier. So I work with it when it's full length, and then I cut it into the length that I need. At least I don't have to sharpen a shorter rod. It's much easier and safer to work with when the rod is longer. So basically I got my one end pointed, just like what you see, and the other end is a little bit weakened. I just give it about a couple of inches extra, and then I cut it with my bolt cutter. Now what I'm going to do, the same gauge drill bit, because I'm putting these rods right through the plywood plate on top of the form. I made a couple of pre-holes on the wood right now, so I can easily put the wire, the threaded rod into the hole instead of just making the hole with the wire, with the rod. Excuse me. So now I put one end of the threaded rod into my drill, push it into the hole, and simply drill it into the foam. The foam has been bonded together for quick adhesion. And as you can see, as soon as that weakened spot went underneath the surface, with a little bit of a wiggle in your drill bit, or basically your drill, you can just break it off. Sometimes they stick out and you want to bring your angle grinder and grind them off. So I thought this would be an easier method to just get rid of them. As you can see, the weakened spot is just under the surface. Wiggle and break. Done. So this was one method. I have two more rods to push into the neck, and this method is basically getting your Dremel tool and cutting out a pretty nice 1/4 inch deep slot, straight slot out of one end. You want the end to be straight. So sometimes you might say that you don't have a bench grinder, and you can do this method, or you don't have a Dremel tool, you can do the bench grinder method. Both of them works. They're both fun to do anyway. So basically I got my rod and basically cut out with a big gap in it. I'm doing the second one right now. Make sure when you're doing this, have your safety goggles on. Now again, we need to put that flat end into our power driver and figure out exactly which direction you want to put the support. Get it all lined up and use your power driver to drive that threaded rod into the foam. These polyurethane foams are pretty strong, and by the time you put these rods across way in there for some support, it really does work. So push it in all the way till you cannot go in further, basically till your power driver head is just that black cone is just going to hit the foam. Just pull it out and push it in a little bit more, and just leave it like that till you're ready. We go for the second rod. So these rods can go in any direction as long as they're not sticking out from the other side. You should be totally fine. I replaced the chuck to push that basically end of it in. So by simply putting a straight screwdriver bit into that gap that you created at the end of a rod, you have turned that into a big screwdriver that you can easily drive it in and make it all disappear. With a little bit of a clay over the hole, you're set. Hopefully you liked the video. If you liked it, please share it and hit the like button. See you next time.